Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Pert.
Good morning, Earthlings. Good. How you doing today? Good. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Welcome to First Contact Radio. To talk about all these things I'm talking about is because in life, everything is energy. Every single thing that's out there.
Yo, it's First Contact with Joshua Poet. He's the man on the mic, just in case you didn't know it. Covering news from all around the globe, from the weather and space to UFOs. We'll talk politics and make you open your eyes. Conspiracy theories and government lies. We'll dig it all up and try to find the proof. Cause it's time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have arrived. First Contact Radio. We have arrived. First Contact Radio.
It's time to demand
First Contact Radio. We have arrived. First Contact Radio.
Good morning, Earthlings. Welcome back from the weekend. Hope you had a good time. Today is a holiday here in America. It's Labor Day. We'll get into a little discussion about what that means as we get along. But right now, cosmic weather. What are we dealing with today? Today is the 7th of September, September 7th. We can see that our moon sign here is in Cancer. Our sun sign is still in Virgo, where it will be for another week, and then next week, and then it will make the transition after that. So you can see right here the sun moves into Libra on the 23rd. So this is the next time when we move from one sign, Virgo, to the next one, Libra. So we still have 2 weeks and 2 days. 2 weeks and 2 days, okay? So that's coming up. And incidentally, the date we move into that is the 23rd. All right, so let's take a look here at these aspects. We know about the Virgo, which is the hermit, patience, timing, holding the lantern high for others to see. Moon sign for today. The moon sign is a water sign, the Chariot. Now, the reason he's wearing the armor, even though this is a sign of emotions, is the armor is worn to protect oneself from the emotions. You have a person, a body, a man, which represents the masculine or the conscious mind. And this man, this conscious mind, is protected by armor. It's protected by a vehicle. And he's driven by two sphinx. The reason they are black and white is they represent the opposites of life and the opposite ends of the poles, and what we have to do is learn how to balance them together, and we balance them together. Not only that, but they are also riddles. You see the image of the Sphinx within them. The Sphinx represents a riddle, so you have the riddle of life and the dualities of life, and the only way to make them move forward actually in the way they need to go is to control the emotions so one can move forward. Okay, allow spirit to be the guide, because spirit ultimately is what is flowing through the man, through the conscious mind, through the vehicle, through everything else. Okay, so you've got the emotions, but we protect ourselves from the emotions with our armor, and we have the patience and timing of the hermit, and these are the two. Now we know that water and earth together can make mud, so we want to be aware of that. However, water with emotions and the earth with the physical world can bring some nice, good, necessary water to help bring to fruition that which we are growing, because all plants need water for certain, okay? We have a lesson coming up between Mercury, our communication, and our emotions, so we might find some emotions in our expressions and some challenges we need to get past so we're not quite so emotional. At 1:05 p.m. we have a opposition between the moon in Cancer and Pluto. We can take a look at that right here. Okay, here's our sign of Cancer, so we know the moon is in Cancer, and opposite it right here is Pluto. So these are in opposition. Okay, this one here is in Capricorn. Remember, it's illusion, it's physical world, it's career, it's earth, and it's opposed here by the subconscious mind wanting to nurture, wanting to bring emotions, feelings. Okay? So a lot of earth and water going on today. Then, of course, as we move later into today, we have the sun and the moon are going to be in a trine. So bring some nice positive energy between the Virgo and the Cancerian energies to sprinkle some emotions into that physical world so we're not so stiff, not so unemotional. We need to have some emotions. Okay, today on the Jewish calendar, 23 Elul. We have the rest of this week, as we can see, where we will be in Elul, and you could see that there is a changing over between the 13th and 14th from Elul to Tishri. And one Tishri is called Rosh Hashanah. It's the New Year day. So we are the last week of the year on the Jewish calendar, coming upon a new year. Today, daily thought, wisdom to heal. In every detail of your world, you will find infinite complexity. That is divine. But it is not yet true divine wisdom. The true wisdom lies in the power that you are given to heal the world. Very true indeed. Our ability to heal is very important. All right, we've begun a new wave spell. This is the wave spell of the Earth. The Earth brings us the ideas of synchronicity and navigation. Let's look at where our placement is on the Zolkin. Right down here, we've gone through all of these galactic activation portal days. We're just right in this area here. A couple more spaces to go in this particular column. So we have the 1 magnetic tone, Earth, guided by the Earth. So it's the magnetic Earth guided by the Earth, with the seed as the hidden power or our occult kin. Our like-minded energy for the day is our inspiration, our ability to communicate, the wind. And the challenge for today is our ability to heal. Here we have the hand. We just talked about the ability to heal. Well, here's the hand. So that's our challenge, to heal, not hurt. Heal, not hurt. The phrase is, I unify in order to evolve. Attracting synchronicity, I seal the matrix of navigation with the magnetic tone of purpose. I am guided by my own power doubled. Current moon phase is a waning moon, 28% till we get back to the new moon. Space weather. Currently the wind is at, the solar wind is 556.7 kilometers per second. Planetary K index is up there. Remember, we were in a storm last week. Well, we still have some activity. It's quiet, but it could become unsettled over the next 24 to 48 hours. Do have some coronal holes that are still sending wind our way. And geomagnetic storm. M-class flare possibility is 1%, so it's way low. X-class is also 1. Geomagnetic storm activity relatively low as well, dropping down to 15% from 25 in the mid latitudes and from 35 to 25 in the upper latitudes. And finally, looking at the sky tonight, if you've been out looking, it's been very nice sky to look at, nice and clear out here last night. Even though it's not yet autumn, you can already greet Fomalhaut, the first magnitude autumn star, twinkling low in the southeast by mid-evening. It shines highest in the south around magnitude 1 midnight or 1 a.m. And there you have it. Our cosmic weather brings us up to UFO news. Let's do it.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
All right, Dirk. Thank you very much. So today we have a bunch of stories here, starting with this UFO up by the sun. UFOs around the sun September 6th, which was just yesterday. These UFOs are not here for the week, but are always seen orbiting the sun. In the NASA SOHO images, NASA has given no explanation to what they are, so we know they are important. UFOs change position and locations throughout the week. Okay, so you can just check out this video here. It's 2 minutes 24 seconds, in which you can see what's going on, the activity. There's the orbs right there, or whatever the heck they are. You can see them in this picture. Okay, so there you go. Check that out. See what you think. Next one here takes us to Winchester, California. Excuse me. White Orbs over Winchester, California. This takes us back to the end of last month, which wasn't too long ago. My roommate called me outside to see something strange. He said he was watching them as they randomly changed directions and left at incredible speed, leaving a trail that dissipated quickly. They looked like moving stars. We saw a plane go by and we could see the differences. They were moving south. They would go behind the clouds. You could see light reflecting on the clouds. It was bright outside. Eventually, one by one, they disappeared. Some we lost in the clouds, and some ascended so high our eyes couldn't see them. Strange experience definitely made me question and feel scared. Okay? So you got to enlarge the screen. You could see it better. Okay? Now we're going to go over here to Tijuana. We had a formation of UFOs over Tijuana. Here's a footage of strange lights hovering in the night sky above Tijuana in Mexico, taken on the 4th of September. We have a 1 minute and a 30-second video to accompany this, but that's about it. No further explanations, just lights in the sky above Tijuana. Things seem to be a little bit slow here this morning with video and what have you. Okay, well, there we go. Alright, here we're going to get to see our formation right there. Looks like a square, huh? Square now, that looks like triangle because they turned off to 2. Okay, pretty interesting. Good sighting from the cell phone. Alright, let's move on from there. Next, this is in water circles. UFOs in water circles. Okay, we have a 3 minute 50-second video. Do you ever hear these strange circles of ice on the water? Here's one most instant report from the 3rd millennium. Okay, I'm just going to leave this to you. It's 3 minute 58-second. I'm going to move on to get to the rest of these stories here. Roswell incident. U.S. astronaut informed about the UFO experience. Astronauts spend their career and most of their time in space. Yes, life and beyond Earth. However, are they in any claims that they see aliens in an actual? If you are into extraterrestrial life, you've probably read about NASA and several witnesses claiming as such, but it is rare for the astronauts to say something about their experience. Therefore, it pays a price to listen to what this famous astronaut is saying when reading about extraterrestrial life. It is a well-settled rule to open your heart and mind. Edgar Mitchell was one of the famous Apollo 14 astronauts. Aside from being a competent person on his job, he spent his time to share his experience during the peak of his career. If you are a fan of the unidentified flying objects, you have probably heard of the Roswell incident that occurred in 1947. Indeed, it was one of the most prominent, reputable, and famous extraterrestrial encounters. Well, he recently tackled two observers to share his remarks about him, precisely speaking, about the strange creatures as well as the famous incident in Roswell. In the story, it does not matter when and how Roswell happened. Let's focus on the conversation. By the astronaut, the most interesting scenario is the words conveyed by the aliens. Mitchell grew up in the area and claimed that he never saw strange beings. However, he admitted talking to some people who are being employed in the White Sands nuclear facility. According to the facilities, they confirmed that such activity took place. He also said that the occurrence was kept top secret since the technology is being obtained from the strange object brought by the moneyed-eyed interest. All right, so there you go. We've heard about Edgar Mitchell before and his story, so just a little more insight into that. Investigators seeking witnesses, famous mass UFO sighting. Terry Hamilton will never forget what he saw on October 18th, 1973, and he suspects dozens of people in Richland and Ashland counties might have seen it too. He was 15 years old, was riding home from Huron with his father when he saw what he describes as a big ball of light come down from the sky, travel about 3/4 parallel to the road, and then move upward quickly until it was out of sight. Later that night, 4 crew members of the Army Reserve helicopter reported a near collision with an identified flying object in the area of Charles Mill Lake, and witnesses on the ground confirmed their story. The crew reported attempting to descend to avoid the 60-foot-long cigar-shaped object with bright green light. The craft then reportedly pulled them upward from 1,700 to 3,500 feet. The occurrence has become known as the Sion incident, named for the pilot of the helicopter, Lawrence Sion. One of the most documentation of the night has focused on what happened to the helicopter. Now, 42 years later, Hamilton and other members of the Mutual UFO Network Ohio chapter are looking for stories for anyone in the area who recalls seeing a similar sight that night. All right, so there's more to the article. If you've seen anything about that, follow the link, get in touch with somebody. And last, you may have heard about the strange sounds in the skies. Well, this addresses that issue. Are these strange sounds in the sky the sound of the apocalypse? The music announcing the end of the world? There are dozens of strange sounds, videos caught on video and then uploaded onto YouTube to document this strange and unexplained phenomena, obviously coming from the sky. Of course, many of these weird noise videos are hoaxes, but as shown in the above video, the strange sound phenomena annoyed residents of different towns around the world. Inhabitants of USA, England, Europe, Canada, New Zealand, and Australia are all reporting these sounds. Okay, and I'm going to leave this video link for you to listen to on your own. It's a compilation, 5 minutes and 26 seconds, about the various sounds that are out there. You may have heard some of these sounds because it's not a new thing that's going on. It's been going on for a short while. And they do sound like trumpets. They're very interesting. I'd like to know what they are. But time will tell, hopefully. All right, I'm going to jump away. Let's start off the week with Great Spirit. I'll be back. We shall continue on.
Come into our circle, Great Spirit. Fill our souls with peace.
Great Spirit, send down your love, send down your love. Spirit, send down your love, shine down your light, show us the way each and every day. Great Spirit, send down your love, shine down your light, show us the way each and every day. Oh, 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 oh,
All right. Great Spirit. Today is Labor Day here in America. So let's see a little bit what about that means. Let's see what this means to all of us. Labor Day in the United States is a public holiday celebrated on the first Monday in September. It honors the American labor movement and the contributions that workers have made to the strength, prosperity, and well-being in their country. Labor Day was promoted by the Central Labor Union and the Knights of Labor, who organized the first parade in New York City after the Haymarket Massacre in Chicago on May 4th, 1886. U.S. President Grover Cleaver feared that commemorating Labor Day on May 1st could become the opportunity to commemorate the affair. Therefore, in 1887, the United States holiday was established in September to support the Labor Day that the Knights favored. Canada's Labor Day is also celebrated on the first Monday of September. More than 80 other countries celebrate International Workers' Day on May 1st as their holidays dedicated to labor. Okay, and over here there's a page called The History of Labor Day. It says Labor Day is the first Monday of September, is a creation of the labor movement and is dedicated to the social and economic achievements of American workers. It constitutes a yearly national tribute to the contributions workers have made to the strength, prosperity, and well-being of our country. Throughout the years, the nation gave increasing emphasis to Labor Day. The first government recognition came through municipal ordinances passed during 1885 through 86. From these, a movement developed to secure state legislation. The first state bill was introduced into the New York legislature, but the first to become law was passed by Oregon February 21st, 1887. During the year, 4 more states, Colorado, Massachusetts, New Jersey, and New York, created the Labor Day holiday by legislative enactment. At the end of the decade, Connecticut, Nebraska, Pennsylvania had followed suit. By 1894, 23 other states had adopted the holiday in honor of workers. On June 28th of that year, Congress passed the act making the first Monday in September of each year a legal holiday in the District of Columbia and the Territories. Okay, and it says the founder of Labor Day. More than 100 years after the first Labor Day observance, there's still some doubt as to who first proposed the holiday for workers. Some records show that Peter J. McGuire, Secretary General of the Brotherhood of Carpenters and Joiners, and a co-founder of the American Federation of Labor, was first suggesting a day in honor of those who, from rude nature, have delved and carved all the grandeur it would behold. But Peter McGuire's place in labor history had not gone unchallenged. Many believe that Matthew McGuire, a machinist, not Peter McGuire, founded the holiday. Recent research seems to support the contention that Matthew McGuire, later the Secretary of Local 344 of the International Association of Machinists in Paterson, New Jersey, proposed the holiday in 1882 while serving as Secretary of the Central Labor Union in New York. What is clear is that the Central Labor adopted a Labor Day proposal and appointed a committee to plan a demonstration and a picnic. Okay, so there you go. In case you're wondering what Labor Day is all about, it's celebrating the labor of the workers, but as we know, the labor unions have kind of grown up, so it's kind of looking at the unions and so on. But, we have a lot of great workers in this country, and these workers are part of these unions. And the workers that make up the country, which is the bulk of America, make the things that make America great. So it is time to not honor the unions, but to honor all of those workers who make up all of these organizations that are out there. So good job to us, American, for all the hard work we've done. Okay, here is an article about Stonehenge II. Stonehenge II is found. Radar research reveals giant line of standing stones from 4,500 years ago, buried 3 feet down, 1 mile from the famous Wiltshire site. For centuries, Stonehenge has mystified and enraptured archaeologists and visitors. And maybe it is not surprising that another monument wonder from prehistory has been overlooked for so long, even though it's just a mile away. Experts have discovered an extraordinary line of giant stones that dates back more than 4,500 years. The area around Stonehenge is littered with prehistoric sites, but the 90 or more stones lying 3 feet underground have just been discovered by sophisticated radar equipment powered by quad bikes. These buried monuments are 15 feet tall instead of being arranged in a circle, as they are at Stonehenge. It is thought that once formed a long-standing line. We're looking at one of the largest stone monuments in Europe, and it has been under our noses for something like 4,000 years, says Professor Vince Gaffney from the University of Bradford, one of the archaeologists leading the research. It's truly remarkable. Okay, very interesting. Very, very interesting on what that is. Okay, and this next story here addresses an upcoming issue. I know you've asked me this question. 4th blood moon is coming up. Mission Jade Helm. Asteroid hitting Earth. September 28th. Okay. It was in the wee hour. Let's see. Oh, wait just a minute here. American soldiers are going on alert in September on a mission in the U.S. called Jade Helm. Ends on the 15th, not the 28th. September 28th is going to be a red moon end, which is 4 blood moons and 6 full moons in between. Book of Revelation says that was a sign of the end of the world. Also rumors that giant meteor is coming from space and will impact us on September 28th. The NASA responds by saying it does not exist. There is no way the planet is ending anytime soon. I've walked 3 months for Grey's Anatomy. Waited for 3. Okay. In the wee hours of September 28th, we will experience one of the darkest and brightest moons of the year. Roughly 2 a.m., the moon will be closer to the Earth than normal, causing it to shine extra bright white and become what is known as a supermoon. Yes, we know it sounds like a child named it, but that's what we're dealing with. Anyway, the supermoon won't last for long, as it will be eclipsed by 4:30 a.m., when the Earth stands directly between it and the Sun. This is expected to last for an hour and a half, during which time the Sun's rays will bend around the Earth, causing the moon to develop a coppery hue, creating a blood moon. This will be the 4th blood moon in a little over a year, which isn't a good thing if you believe the Christian ministers John Hagee and Mark Blitz, who claim that this is a sign that the world is ending. Supposedly 4 blood moons and 6 moons in between them, which has actually happened this year, is a sign the apocalypse could be on the way, as was predicted in the book of Revelation. Okay, so just thought I'd bring that up to you so you could see that there is more info about these particular dates this month. It is quite fascinating what is happening. There are so many signs and coincidences going on this month. It is definitely a time to pay attention. What's going to happen? Maybe nothing will happen. Maybe these are all just rumors of things that are going on. But as long as we're aware of what's going on, so we can decide for ourselves, that's the most important thing. Or maybe there is something important. Maybe we are in a time where we could have something of biblical proportions happening. If that's the case, we definitely want to pay attention. So, we shall see what happens. We shall see. All right, I thought I would do a wrap-up today of the Krybalion, since we spent so much time going over it. So, I've got here, where are we going to go at here? Well, let's just jump into the, we've looked at the book here. We've looked at all the different chapters. Okay. We've gone over the principles. And now we are at a point where we need to put it all together. So it's very simple. Very, very simple. Remember, Jesus said we must be like a child to enter the kingdom of heaven. That means the information and the wisdom is simple. We overcomplicate it. So if we look at it, if we take a look at this here, these are the 7 principles, and all we have to do, first of all, is be aware of them. These principles are going to happen all of your life, and they've happened all of your life up to this point. So all we have to do is just become aware of them and keep getting better and better. So the principle of mentalism, the first principle, it tells us, principle of mentalism is the first one, and it tells us that the universe is a mental universe. One giant mind. There's nothing outside of the mind. It is just one mind, and it is all that exists. We call it the all. This mind, according to the second principle, has many different layers to it and dimensions, and every aspect of the mind, no matter how small, corresponds to every other aspect. Now, if you think of the word correspond, it also relates to communication, because when we think we correspond to somebody, we write to them, we correspond. So this is saying that every aspect of this mind, of this mental universe, corresponds or communicates with every other aspect. So the smallest part, like a drop in the ocean, can communicate with all of the ocean, just like the smallest molecule can communicate with all of the molecules, because they're connected. But we know the difference when we take a drop of water from the ocean, that is just a drop of water. Even though it has all the properties of the ocean, we know that is just a drop and not the whole ocean, because we couldn't hold the whole ocean in our hands. Unless, of course, we were some super huge giant, but we're not. Third principle is the principle of vibration. So once we know that it's a mental universe, all aspects of this universe, of this mind, correspond with it, we realize then everything moves, everything vibrates. There is nothing that is just staying still. Even the things that we look at that appear to be staying still are moving very, very slowly. So everything vibrates. And with everything vibrating, we learn that everything moves from one pole to the next. So if you were to have like a pencil, let's say, one side and the next. Things move back and forth between the 2 poles, from one pole to the next. So at one side of the pole, you could have hot. The other side, you could have cold. And all that you have here is varying degrees going back and forth of that quality of hot or cold. And the quality we're looking at is not hot and cold. We're looking at temperature. And we're seeing varying degrees of temperature vibrating along a set of poles going back and forth from a colder to a warmer. Okay? Now, as it's going back and forth in polarity, there's a rhythm that is happening. And that is the rhythm that is happening all the time, because all energy is moving in rhythm, and this rhythm is moving into the rhythm of the universe, the synchronicity of what's going on. So as we get in tune with the rhythm of what's happening in life, life becomes a bit more fun, because we're not caught up in all of the things that challenge us so much. We're able to step away. We're dancing with life. We're moving with life differently. Okay? Now, after rhythm, we have the principle of cause and effect. And that's like the law of karma. And it simply states, if we cause something to happen, if we do something, then we're causing something to happen. Our actions, our words have caused something to happen. And that cause will have an effect. And then that effect, whether it's an effect on another person, effect on ourselves, effect on something that we're doing, whatever it is, that effect will then go out and something will happen because of what was caused from that effect. So every action builds upon another action. Everything we do builds upon itself. Therefore, we have an opportunity, knowing that life is continually moving around us and there's a rhythm moving around us, and we have the ability to move in sync with it. We can step out of the problems of life just simply by avoiding them, not doing the things that cause the effects of problems in our life, by causing the things that create positivity in our lives. Because it's the law. The law is the law. And we work with the law. And if we don't work with the law, we don't get the benefits of what is offered. And if we do, we get the benefits. If we put out bad things, the law says we're going to get what we put out, and therefore more is going to come back, more bad things, because we've caused that, therefore we've affected that. If we put out good things, if we've caused good things to happen, the effect will be more good things will happen. Okay? We affect what we cause. It's very simple. And the very last principle is the principle of gender, and this is a very important one, especially in this day and age, because we have the term gender all out of whack. Okay? Gender, to generate, to create more of. Therefore, we have the masculine and feminine genders, so they can create more of themselves. And in order to create more of yourselves, more of themselves, the great creative spirit of life, this giant mind which corresponds to everything and vibrates back and forth in polarities that create rhythms of cause and effect, this giant mind is both masculine and feminine. Masculine being an electrical charge that puts out, feminine being a charge that receives. And in order to create anything in life, you have to have a charge that puts out and a charge that receives. And that's how it works back and forth together. Because to have a put out charge, a masculine charge, and then another masculine charge, imagine two masculine energies, and each one of them is holding a basketball in their hand. And throwing that ball represents the activity of the masculine energy. Well, what happens if you have two guys facing each other and they're throwing this masculine energy and the balls at each? What's going to happen? The ball's going to hit and bounce off. Nothing gets created by that. Just two masculine energies. Just like two female energies. There's nothing to go back and forth. There isn't a charge. They're both waiting for something. They're both waiting to receive. So if we get our genders out of whack, like is happening down here in America, then we're not able to understand how life is going to evolve and continue to propagate itself. If we allow society to teach us that we need to have a society that is not adhering and following the principles of gender, but is getting them confused, eventually you have a society where there isn't any more society, because Adam and Steve can't make a little baby. You could say, oh, Adam and Steve can adopt a child. Sure they could. But if there aren't any children to adopt because Adam and Steve can't have a baby, then there isn't going to be a baby for them to adopt. In the same way, two women aren't going to have the baby, ain't going to reproduce that, because that is not what they do either. Therefore, the great Creator knew that in order for this universe to be fruitful and to multiply, there needs to be the activity of the masculine and the feminine working together. And that is the way that it works, from the highest levels down to the lowest levels. And if you don't like what I have to say, if you've been offended by it, take it up with God, because God made the rules. I'm simply telling you the way in which they operate, and that's it. Okay? So there you have it. That is our summary of the Krybalion. Mentalism, correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, cause and effect, and gender. Okay? So, any questions? Let me know. firstcontactradio@yahoo.com. Send me comments, whatever, however you want to reach me. Okay? Because that's it. That's all there is to it. It's not more complicated than that. Okay, here's an article. We talked about the new heaven, the new earth, Dolores Cannon on Friday. Well, here's an article that speaks some to this. 13 signs that you are ready to go home to the new earth. Greg Prescott. According to the late Dolores Cannon's hypnotherapy research, a new earth is being formed where many of us will go in the near future. Much of this is based on vibration, not only of our planet, but each individual on the planet. The most difficult concept to understand is how two Earths can exist at the same time. In the following video, Dolores talks about how time exists in the now, including all past lives and future possibilities. The video itself, 1 hour, 23 minutes. And then here we could see some double slit experiments which kind of show us how we could perceive something in one reality or dimensional plane and not another. Very interesting. Very interesting experiment. So watch that. It's a 5-minute video. And then here we have Dolores and her daughter Julia talking about manifestation, talking about the second heaven and earth. In the video above it says, every decision you make creates an alternative reality. According to Cannon, any time you make any decision of any kind, it will split again and again and again. She added that if you don't put a lot of energy into another decision, then it will dissipate. Okay, right now we are all manifesting our individual outcomes. For example, those who believe the flat earth theory may very well go to a flat earth. Those who are putting excessive energy into fear-related issues will manifest those as well. The bottom line is to be cognizant of where you're placing your thoughts and energies. Now, more than ever, people are feeling a strong sense that we're on the verge of something amazing, but we have a hard time placing our finger on what it might be. I covered a lot of possibilities of what might happen in the near future article called Beyond Imagination, the Cosmic Wild Card, where I list a number of scenarios that could catapult us into the new earth in the literal blink of an eye. So here's 13 signs so you're ready to go home to the new earth. 1, you are constantly experiencing synchronicities, seeing the numbers and so on and so forth. 2, you begin to manifest your desires with ease. Dolores Cannon says one of the biggest lessons you come to Earth is to learn how to manipulate energy. This is how powerful your mind is. You can create anything. 3, your eating habits change. 4, your dreams become more prophetic and less fearful. 5, you have a strong desire for truth, even if it contradicts your previous belief systems. 6, you understand fear and release it much easier than ever before. 7, you sense a thinning of dimensions. 8, you experience glitches in time or time loops. 9, you begin to drift away from friends and family who don't understand you. 10, you experience unusual energy shifts. 11, you hear high-pitched frequencies. 12, you feel a strong desire to go home wherever that may be. And 13, you begin to experience metaphysical abilities that you never thought you could do before. Okay, more than ever, it's important to be cognizant of where we're placing our thoughts. While I highly encourage people to question everything, it's really not worth the time or energy to rant about what you disagree with. It's much simpler to take the high road, to focus on the positive things that life has to offer. Continue working on your own path, because all paths lead to the same destination. Some will simply take longer to get there. In the meantime, try to find time to stay grounded. Continue working on raising your vibration. Try not to get caught in petty arguments that drain your energy and your vibration. And follow those who raise yours. Okay? Very good. Very good. So, changes upon us. Are we going to experience a big blast of it this month? Perhaps. 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 All right, here we have a message today. This is from the Council. There we go.
The Council. Choices, choices, choices.
September 1st, 2015, by Ronald Head.
The Council.
We wish to speak with you today regarding the topic of choice. We will once again point out to you several things about the subject that you will find you already know, but that you may wish to examine in new ways. This may lead you to a higher understanding of who and what you are. That is always our purpose when we speak with you. Each and every moment of your lives you are in choice. What will I think? What should I do? Where shall I go? How might I do this? How should I feel about that? You make these choices in every instant. Each time you make a choice, and truly each time you refrain from doing so, you make uncountable changes to the probabilities and possibilities of the future. And we do not speak of only your own future, do you understand? Imagine that the universe is a vast fabric of very intricate lace, like a beautiful fringed table covering. Now imagine taking one tiny piece of the fringe and pulling upon it. Pull a little more. Can you imagine that whatever you do to that piece of thread will affect every part of the fabric in some manner? That is what each choice you make does to the future of everything. That is what each decision not to choose does, as well. Now that does not mean that deciding not to make a particular choice at a particular time is a bad thing. It does mean, however, that you may wish to make that decision in a more conscious manner. And lest you begin to feel the weight of the world on your shoulders, consider that there are about 7 billion other decisions being made on your earth in the same instant that also contribute to the outcome. Would it not be far more satisfying to take responsibility for your decisions knowing that you are indeed contributing to the outcomes you desire? Would it not give you a better feeling to know that you are creating a happier and more rewarding life for yourself and everyone else? Now this can seem to be a very daunting task. Oh my! What should I do now? I have to get this right. Everything depends on it. There must be a better way. Well, there is a better way. There is no need for you to shoulder the entire burden. There is no need for you to shoulder any burden. There is only a need for you to become aware enough to remember how to improve your feelings about your own life. That is enough. That will make the highest contribution to the collective life. So how do you do that? Shift your attention. Your attention, as you have learned in this life, is given to thinking about and understanding what to do next and how to do it. We would offer a much simpler and easier to apply guideline for you to follow, and one that will put you into far closer touch with the greater self that you are. Move your attention as often as possible to your heart. What does that mean? It means asking yourself, how does that make me feel? How will it make me feel? How do I feel about that? How can I feel better? Now the feelings that you have are a language in themselves, you know. They are the way in which the greater self that you are speaks to you in each moment of your life. You have been conditioned over vast reaches of time to ignore this and proceed as if it were unimportant. But when you begin to pay attention, you will find that it will become what is referred to as the still small voice within. It is the I am. Listen to her. Listen to him. And don't only listen. Find ways to act upon what you hear, what you feel. Let's imagine for a moment that someone has repeatedly come to you for advice. You have always given this person the very best counsel that you could. But the person has always acted in ways that you never would have advised. Would you not begin to answer in shorter and shorter ways, give less and less advice, and eventually cease answering perhaps? Well, now put yourself in the position of yourself, who constantly hears your every thought, wish, and prayer. Yourself has answered you every time with what it knows would be best for you. The language it uses is your deepest feelings. But you seldom, if ever, act upon them. Would it surprise you if the feelings got weaker and weaker? Or is it just that the listening device became out of tune? Tune in. Relearn the language. You will make one of the most effective and important changes possible to you. That is the way home, you see. That tuner, that language, is the way we speak, the way spirit speaks. It may develop into far more, but it will always be enough. And now we have come full circle back to the subject of choice. If you have made this choice, you have changed your life. That is our promise to you. Be in joy. Be in love. Good day.
Good message. Good message. You know, reminds me of that lyric from Rush. If you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice. It's kind of very important, choices. All right, Warrior of Light message. Today, page 101. The Warrior of Light, once he has learned how to use a sword, discovers that his equipment is still incomplete. He needs armor. He sets off in search of this armor, and he listens to the advice of various salesmen. He uses the breastplate of solitude, says one. Use the shield of cynicism, says another. The best armor is not to get involved in anything, says a third. The warrior, however, ignores them. He calmly goes to his sacred place and puts on his indestructible cloak of faith. Faith parries all blows. Faith transforms poison into crystalline water. So go ahead and close your eyes. Take a deep breath and exhale. Take another deep breath and exhale again. Now, just imagine that you are standing in front of a mirror, looking at yourself, and you see hanging up next to you this garment, this cloak, and you pick it up and it feels light, and it is a cloak of faith. So you go ahead and you put it on, and it fits perfectly. And you find that from the moment you put it on, your faith is strengthened. You realize that faith is not just a blind believing, but a knowing that something happens because it is. And so you have this faith understanding that the universe, being a giant mind, is able to communicate and correspond with us at all times. And therefore we can correspond and communicate as well. So with our cloak of faith, we move forward in life, having many choices, and using faith to make better decisions. And as we move through life, we understand about the synchronicities of life that occur when one keeps a faithful eye on how they use their energies. So let the subconscious mind continue moving through life, just expressing faith and being aware of the synchronicities. And let's bring our conscious mind back to the present moment on the count of 3. 3, coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2, coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1, coming back to the present moment happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. Take another deep breath. Exhale, and open your eyes. That's it, my friends. That's it. That's show number 1 for the week. Let's hope today is a good day. Remember, a lot going on this month. Just keep thinking positive thoughts. Keep energizing yourself with faithful ideas, and it'll all work out. It'll all work out. You'll see. That's it. I'll be back tomorrow. I love you. Keep loving each other. Peace. I'm out of here.